Welcome to the morning after the night before in Mass Effect 3. So we had a big party last time. It was great. We had a fabulous time. We danced, we drunk, we broke stuff. We got to know each other a bit better. There were a few bad decisions and romance decisions. It was just a great time. I don't think I spoke to Cassimi. Did I?
Morning, Shep.
Yeah.
You went all out with the breakfast supplies. I didn't know you could get real milk on the Citadel. I had some. Thought it was soy.
I realised how kind of big she was. She's quite tall.
I'm not really lactose intolerant. I just don't put up with lactose's stupid drama.
Okay.
In case I don't see you again, thanks. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I should go. Stupid dairy products. Hey.
Okay, so before I say what we're going to do in this episode, first I just want to remind any of you that didn't see it. I made a community post last week when there was a break in the videos, just to ask everybody for some questions, because I plan to, similar to how I did with Mass Effect 2, but I wanted to do a big discussion review video after the game is finished, and but to give it a bit more structure than that video had, I wanted it to be kind of led by your questions and create a big discussion. So a lot of you have put your questions to me about, you know, just anything to do with the whole trilogy. It can be specific, it can be general, it can be about characters, plot, it can be about the end game, because I'm not going to read the majority of the questions. Sorry, I'm not going to read the lower part of the questions that will contain any spoilery stuff you want to put in, so you can put in questions about the ending of the game. You might want to change stuff once you see how my ending goes. I don't know how different each one is, obviously. So yeah, if you hadn't seen that, because obviously community posts, not everyone is going to notice them when they pop up, maybe head over there, pop a question down below to kind of create the discussion for the post-game stuff. Okay, so I wanted to say that at the start because this is going to be the dreaded scanning episode, which means my watch time is about to drop through the floor. Well, I don't mind. So because we've got a bunch of quests incomplete even, currently, that are kind of the collectathon stuff. So yeah, the Elcor extraction, Code of the Ancients, we'll never finish those two. Hades Nexus, the Fossil, the Obelisk, Rings of Elune, and the Cerberus Ciphers. So some of these we might have already found, it's hard to tell. But we just need to go exploring in the galaxy, complete the galaxy map. We'll probably pick up a bit of cash, some war assets while we're out there as well, so it's all good. So let's head back to the Normandy dock. That's going to bring a conclusion. Yeah. Oh wait, is there going to be more?
Duty calls, huh? Even with a hangover?
Yeah.
There's still a war on.
Unless the Reapers are on shore leave too?
I'm guessing they're not. Round everyone up, pass out the aspirin, and have them report to the Normandy.
You got it.
And that's the end of our shore leave.
I suppose it's back to the fight.
At least we threw one hell of a party. Probably the last one.
You may be right. But whatever happens, I know you'll see this through. And I'll be right there with you. We've been through a lot, haven't we? But it's been a good ride.
The best.
All the feels, man. All the feels. Yeah. I might save my kind of ending predictions for just before we go to the next priority mission. So, how are we doing for money? 120.
Commander?
Let's check before we go. Let's check everything. We'll check in with everybody. But first things first. Let's get some proper clothes back on. Yeah. As good as this is, I can't bring myself to use it. I know that this headpiece is stupid, but I'm just going to go full power recharge. It's got our signature gold, right? It benefits our class the most in terms of recharge, because the recharge is key to doing the combo detonations, right? If I just focus on damage, some of the like incinerate might wear off before I can chuck overload on it. So the power recharge is key really for my class. So I much prefer this build, even though we're a bit squishy. But we're squishy anyway, even if we go for a mix between the two. Okay, now should I swap to this for a bit, because we've been wearing the old Admiral's outfit for a while. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this for a bit. Now that we're in kind of full battle mode, I guess. I never named the hamster, did I? I don't really like hamsters, if I'm being honest. I'm sorry. But not sorry. Oh yeah, we'll head to the crew deck and see if anybody's got any new dialogue, because that was a mission technically.
Hey there.
No, I don't think so. Let's check in with the doctor though, because the doctor didn't come to the party. She was up to something else, so she might have some new dialogue.
Hello, Commander.
No, absolutely not. I think her voice actress just wasn't available for the DLC.
A pleasure to see you.
Oh, Glyph, where's your bow tie?
Thanks for coming by.
Alright, let's head back to the CIC then. Okay, I'm just gonna... This is gonna be a bit of a haphazard approach. I should probably... No. I could check the Citadel for in case I've completed any. Probably best, right? I'm just gonna quickly
You're
see...
cleared to dock, Normandy. Do you need ground
No.
transport?
I'll handle it.
Yes, Commander.
Yeah. Get me in there. Right, so if we've picked up something... Officer Delk. Okay. Jacob's still there. Aria, Edie, Joker. Yeah, the Ara's still there. James and Zaid. So, looks like we've got one that's completed. In the embassy offices. Okay, let's head there.
I've got your briefing, Private. Let's fill you in before the squad arrives. The Alliance is posting us to an Ezo mining facility on Zani. It's a low-gravity planet, toxic atmosphere. You'll be expected to maintain full survival gear. Any questions?
Are we playing security, Sergeant Ullenby?
No, Private. We are not.
Alright.
Spectre status recognized.
Let's quickly go here. I might as well check Spectre requisitions while we're down here as well.
Now arriving at Presidium Embassy.
He was...
No, I know what I said. Divert forces to the new coordinates. Trust me. We may not be able to stop the Reapers, but I think we can predict their movements now.
It's not you. You're not Officer Delk.
Rex remains adamant that the Krogan will continue to support the Turians. Alaman has not yet fallen.
Officer? Nope. Who was Officer Delk?
Given the Turians critical support to keep their military functional.
Must be someone we've already spoke to. Unless it's a glitch.
Look, I filled out all the forms you requested and jumped through every hurdle.
Officer Delk.
I don't even know where Neota is.
Aha!
Your intel, right? I found these encryption codes on a Cerberus engineer. I thought they might be helpful.
Cerberus ciphers. That's exactly what we've been looking for. Thank you, Commander. Yes, Commander Shepard found some encryption algorithms. The team is expecting results soon now.
Excellent. Someone else showed up and said that my Shepard's eyes look weird. It's only in the third game. Like, there's really nothing I could do to change it. All the other eye options would have looked drastically different to how to Amanita looked in the first and second games. So, Private Talavi. Transfer. Private Talavi has requested a transfer to a unit actively engaged against Reaper hostiles. A note from Sergeant Alembe says that Private Talavi is an exceptional engineer, recommending her for duty on the team set to sabotage Reaper processing centers. Spectre authorization would fast-track this request. Sure. Okay. So what we really want is the Typhoon for Garrus and everyone else who uses assault rifles, except for maybe Javik. Black Widow's the only other thing we might want for Garrus, I think. That's the most expensive thing, so maybe that's the best thing. The Valiant is a sniper rifle tested by Alliance soldiers during a series of harsh survival exercises on the planet Kruljarvan. This streamlined weapon employs a sophisticated fire control system that improves accuracy by stabilizing the barrel during targeting. Although it comes at the cost of reduced capacity and rate of fire, most soldiers find the increase in precision and quick reloading time a worthy trade-off. So you'll have to fill me in, guys. I mean, I've already upgraded the Widow, which is one of the things that I was recommended, and the Typhoon was recommended as well. I'm probably not going to have enough money without doing some serious grinding in the arena to get more than one of these requisition guns. I've already got my gun, I'm sorted. In terms of my prime team, I think my best team in terms of the way I play is Garrus and Liara with us. That's probably my optimal team.
Spectre status recognized. 1 moment, please.
Because I think that using the shotgunners, particularly against Reaper enemies, after what happened to Rex, they get minced if they get too close.
Have you discovered a way to run FTL spaceships without an ESO core, Private Talavi?
No, ma'am.
Then consider this a serious assignment. Intel's expecting a Cerberus raid.
Cerberus? Cerberus?
Yeah, that's at the very beginning of their... Yeah. Right. In we go. Right, God, we've not been on the galaxy map for ages. Okay, so the Elusive Man's base is in the Horsehead Nebula. So let's go in a anti-clockwise motion. Aethon Cluster, 100%, Arcturus Stream, 100%, Exodus, 100%. Kite's Nest, 77, that's where we're going. So this episode will be as long as it needs to be, I guess. But we don't need to find anything here. The Indris Cluster is unexplored, strangely enough. Okay. Have a little read. Ramlat. Ramlat is a small rock planet with a thin atmosphere of hydrogen and ethane. During the rush to exploit Kamala for ESO and other minerals, Ramlat supported a small but steadily growing population. Since the system was bereft of a significant asteroid belt, Ramlat became the go-to location for second-tier miners looking for work. Its tin and gold industry was modestly profitable before the Reaper attack. Today, it's a wasteland scarred by the craters of kinetic impact weapons. Kamala. So this is the prime interest. It's a garden planet. Strange colour. Kamala is a relatively small but ezo-rich garden world recently colonised by the Batarians. In an unusually open gesture, the Batarians allowed immigration of free citizens of other species so long as they came from independent colony planets such as those in the Traverse and Terminus and retained non-citizen status during their stay. These strictures were small obstacles compared to the economic lure of Ezo, and soon the planet boasted spaceports and refineries that considerably enriched the hegemony. The planet enjoyed relative peace and prosperity, with the major lifestyle inconvenience being fresh water shortages due to a dry climate. The Reaper invasion has turned Kamala's cities from affluent oases into a living nightmare. Alliance intelligence suggests that early in the Reaper invasion, a high percentage of the planet's population was captured and converted to husk creatures for future offensives. The processing camps still run night and day, and the troop transports fly legions of cannibals out every hour. For this reason, Alliance commanders put Kamala squarely in its sights for military strikes. Colony founded in 2154, population 2.8 million, pre-invasion, capital Ujon. I mean, it's tricky, right? Because we know that the hegemony was infiltrated by indoctrinated politicians, right? Early on. That's what the Leviathan of Dis thing was, right? Right? Or was that to do with the Leviathans? I'm sure that they had a Reaper artifact that meant a lot of their government was indoctrinated. Okay, Colis. Colis is a large rock planet wreathed in a haze of carbon dioxide and xenon. The Batarians just seem to have gotten like the short end of the stick in a lot of this stuff, right? I suppose part of that's from them being so isolationist and anti-council, right? It was discovered by Batarian astronomers during the last century and first visited in the 2150s by hegemony survey teams. A small number of colonists lived in aerostat habitats above its oppressive cloud layer, harvesting carbon dioxide. No habitats can be detected now. It's likely the Reapers eliminated them or the colonists submerged into the scorching atmosphere in an attempt to hide. Okay, we got a look. Oh, that's a scan.
I found something.
That's the first one of those I've actually noticed. Maklan. Maklan is the outermost planet of the Indris system, a ball of rock and ice with a methane-argon atmosphere. Like Heba, it was an unstable orbit, but where Heba is believed to have formed closer to the star and gradually moved outward, Maklan is believed to have formed further from Indris and moved inward. Far in the future, Maklan may become a satellite of its gas giant neighbour. Okay, so there's only one more asset, interestingly, which is in Colis. There will be no Reaper dodging today, game. Governor Grothan Pasnes. Okay, picked up a politician. Heba. The hydrogen-helium gas giant, Heba, has an unstable orbit, which over time has led to it clearing the space around it of asteroids and protoplanetary material. As a result, its rings are thick and quite visible. And what is this business? Kava Station. Alliance intelligence reports that there was once a sizable military space station trailing Heba that was tasked with arming and refueling ships to repel pirates, slave revolts, and foreign invasions. The Reapers wasted little time in destroying it during their conquest of Kamala. Yeah, they absolutely minced this system. The Kite's Nest. Completed it, mate. Right. Picked up a war asset. Learned a bit more about the hegemony. Beautiful. Hades Gamma, done. Gemini Sigma, done. Argos Rho, don't think we need to go there. Shadow Sea. Argos Rho, I think, is a single... Is this where Horizon is? I think so. I think this is like a single solar... No. Phoenix. I'm sure this was where Horizon was or something. Huh. Varmalus, Metgos, Canrum. They are... I'm sure we came here for something. Varmalus. Varmalus has a thick atmosphere of nitrogen and helium. Its surface is scorching hot and mainly composed of alumina with deposits of borax. The planet has an extensive network of subterranean caves formed over the millennia by volcanic processes. In these relatively cool areas, some primitive life has developed. Interesting. Next cycle's dominant species, maybe. Cyber. Cyber is a standard Neptune-type gas giant. The upper cloud decks of its hydrogen-helium atmosphere tinted a dramatic blue by traces of methane. Thayar. We'll scan this cluster on the way out. Thayar is a large gas giant with traces of chlorine and sodium in its atmosphere. It also has a significant amount of water vapor in the clouds of its upper atmosphere. Thayar was struck by an asteroid at least 12 kilometers in diameter within the last 100 years. The superheating caused by the impactor's atmospheric passage created a large bank of vicious storms along the equatorial band. Interesting. Metgos. We came here, didn't we? Metgos is a large terrestrial planet with an atmosphere of carbon dioxide and nitrogen. Its hot surface is mainly composed of nickel with deposits of potassium and heavy metals. I made a joke at that point, I seem to remember. It's a mineralogical treasure trove with concentrated heavy elements constantly being brought to the surface by volcanic activity. Metgos is inhospitable and dangerous, and expeditions must be well prepared to survive any length of time. With its high mass, heat-trapping clouds, and constant volcanic venting, Metgos seems well on its way to becoming a Venusian pressure cooker world. Canrum. Sorry if I'm rereading what you're going to do. Canrum is a small rocky world with a trace atmosphere of methane and krypton. Its surface is mainly composed of magnesium and silicates with deposits of carbon. Cameron was the site of the warlord Shiaga's defeat by the Turian peacekeeping forces during the Krogan rebellions. While this band was not especially powerful, Shiaga was a female warlord and one of the few remaining fertile females at that. She had, through viciousness and cunning, parlayed her unique value into a position of power. Krogan males competed for the right to join her band and lie with her. When Shiaga's death was announced, vengeful male Krogan admirers near and far swore blood oaths against the participating Turian crews. In the end, several thousand of the Turian participants were killed in open combat or through assassination. To this day, many Krogan proudly proclaim that they have the blood of Shiaga. Yeah, I remember that actually.
Signal confirmed.
Hey! We're going to find a chastity belt. Haptic optics array. I'll take it. Okay, that's fuel, so we can get that on the way out. There's two other systems here. Got the Phoenix system and the Gorgon system. Matt Gargan. The Scorpion. 16% of assets. Phoenix cluster. The Phoenix system, even. Tuntao. Let's just check the names. Patashi. Intaisei, I don't think we've been here. Vebinok. Pinnacle Station. The asteroid-based Pinnacle Station was originally constructed by the Turians to function as a concealed command center during the Krogan rebellions. It's been retrofitted as a military training facility for all high-level special operations teams employed by the Council. The station's combat simulator allows teams to train under a variety of hazardous conditions. 1,200 population. Interesting. Vebinok. Vebinok is a small terrestrial world with a thin atmosphere of krypton and xenon. Its frozen surface is mainly composed of carbonaceous material, water ice, and low-density silicates. Rare but concentrated loads of light metals have been deposited by asteroid impacts. One hemisphere of Vebenock is covered by surface deposits of oxidized copper. Approximately 270 years ago, a Turian bulk gas transport was attacked by pirates in the Phoenix system. Damaged, it made a rough landing on Vebenock. The heat of the landing melted significant quantities of surface ice, and ruptured shipping containers spilled LOX across the surface. Before this evaporated and escaped Vebenock's weak gravity, it reacted to cause widespread rust.
I found something.
Hey! We can steal from the Turians, no worries. Turian Spec Ops team. Nice. Silsalto. Silsalto is a standard hydrogen-helium gas giant. It has no remarkable features. Intersay. An atmosphere similar to Earth's made Intersay an early candidate for human colonization. However, prohibitively high temperatures and an arid climate have proven a hindrance to terraforming and agriculture. A few human cities were founded, but the majority of the human population on Intersay, yeah, it should be Intersay, I think. The majority of the human population on Intersay remains scattered across the vast deserts, operating wind farms and geological research stations. Colony founded in 2166, population of 150,000. Capital is Thoreau Mesa. Okay, there are a few assets here, so we need to get reading first. Speaking of desert worlds, I'm about halfway through reading Dune at the minute, and I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer for the film, because I mean that's coming out next week, or this weekend even. The Harkonnens in the film are all evil bald guys. Like, it is beggars belief. They're all evil bald guys. All of them. All of them. As if living on a desert planet would make you pale. They're all like pale white evil bald guys. It's just astonishing. God. Right, Patashi is a sun-blasted terrestrial world whose atmosphere was blasted away millennia ago by the star Phoenix. The surface is scorching hot and mainly composed of iron with deposits of tin. Due to its relatively low density, Patashi is tidally locked to Phoenix. Seas of molten light metals cover much of the sunward side. Yeah, so don't go there. Tuntao. Tuntao is an enormous, low-density terrestrial planet with a thick atmosphere of methane and helium. Despite being nearly 20 AU from Phoenix, the star's great heat and insulating thickness of the atmosphere make the surface surprisingly temperate. The crust is mainly composed of sodium and silicon dioxide with deposits of various light metals. While Tuntao isn't habitable, the relative pleasantness of the surface conditions make it a popular location for small ships travelling through the Argos Row cluster to land for drive discharge. Okay, so one of these three is going to have something. Knew it. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Fossilized Caclea sword. Okay, we needed that for the Citadel. Ah, we found the fuel!
Faster than light jump successful.
Don't mind if I do. See ya.
Evasion successful.
We know we've got some fuel on Hydra, so we should be alright. Gargan. Alright, start with a big boy. Charblu. A standard hydrogen-helium gas giant. I wonder how many times I've said hydrogen-helium gas giant throughout this trilogy. A lot. The methane in Charblu's atmosphere gives it an azure hue. The Asari crew, who initially surveyed the system during Earth's 17th century, named Charblu after a then-popular soprano. The singer was renowned for her unusual skin tone, which was quite similar to that of the planet. Charblu. That is bright. Cameron. Kamaran is a terrestrial world with a thin atmosphere of carbon dioxide and argon. The surface is scorching hot, primarily composed of iron with deposits of nickel. Like Wuo, Kamaran is tidally locked to the blue giant, forever looking into the face of Gorgon. Slacken. Orbiting at an unbelievable distance of 210 AU, over 66 billion kilometers from Gorgon, Slacken is a huge gas giant with an atmosphere tainted by methane and chlorine. Wuo. Oh, look at that. Wuo is a terrestrial planet only known from scan data picked up by unmanned probes. Though over 76 AU from the blue giant Gorgon, temperatures in Wuo's orbit are still dangerously high. Only ships with very powerful heat-radiating systems can venture that deep into the system. Fortunately, Wuo is not a terribly interesting world. It has a thin atmosphere of nitrogen and methane, and the scorching surface is mainly composed of alumina with deposits of platinum. The world is tidally locked to Wuo. What? It is Wuo! Leaving the... The world is tidally locked to Gorgon, right? Leaving the sunward side scorched and the irradiated wasteland. Leaving the sunward side scorched and irradiated wasteland, and the dark side of frigid and ice-crusted. Who wrote that? That's really confusing to read. Vectra. Vectra is a typical hydrogen-helium gas giant with traces of methane and sodium in its atmosphere. The heat of the star Gorgon is slowly blasting away the gas giant's massive atmosphere, which is visible as a long, dim tail that trails behind the planet. Is that all of them? Alright, let's scan the two small planets first.
Signal confirmed.
Kamaran, thank you. Advanced power relays. Is that something we need for the Citadel? I'm not sure. Oh, nice, that's everything. I'm out of it. We can pick up the fuel at Hydra. Did I think I triggered the... Beautiful. Oh, 270. That sucks.
Reapers eluded.
Okay, Argos Row, 100%. So... Okay, everything from like the Citadel in this lower bit is done. Fairly sure that Shadow Sea doesn't have scannable stuff in it. One of these is like a single star system. I can't remember which one. Yeah. Is this this is Horizon, right? Yeah, there's nothing here, so we can rule this off the list. Okay, Shadow Sea. Kepler Verge. I can't remember which one of you said that. I kept saying Kelper, didn't I? In the first game, Kepler Verge. Oh man, a lot of these aren't explored. What about this one? Calliston Rift. Oh god. What's happened here? Fair enough. Tigger's Cradle's got new stuff in it. Oh, guys, it might be 2 episodes. Oh, 9%! Alright, we're off to the Kepler Verge. I thought we were further into the episode than that. We should be right. Okay, this is a locked one. Which one's this? Ontaron. Okay, phew. We'll cross this off the list. Kepler Verge, Nubian Expanse. Okay. We'll do Dakar on the way out. We've got 3, so let's head to Kalabsha first. Okay, just a small one. 2 planets. One of them looks like a garden planet though. Tefnut. A hydrogen-helium gas giant, Tefnut is home to a helium-3 collection and the nearest refueling facility on the Nubian Expanse's mass relay. As such, it's a major gateway to the Verge and Terminus systems, and has become famous for its hospitality industry. Tefnut's motto is known throughout the galaxy, like home, only better. Visitors here can stay at expansive resort stations, watch locally produced entertainment, buy mind-affecting substances not welcome in Citadel space, and rent companionship. Resources are shipped in from Yam at substantial discounts, allowing the small space stations to have surprising luxuries such as edible arthropods and large amounts of fresh water. Oops. Yams! So yams are what Americans call red potatoes or sweet, because red potatoes and sweet potatoes are different, right? So is it one of you, if one of you is American, you have to explain. Yams, I think it's sweet potatoes or red potatoes. I think it's like interchangeable, I'm not sure. Okay, with over 90% of its surface covered in oceans, Yam is a habitable nitrogen-oxygen world, but its extremes can be quite hostile to sapient life. The heat from its extremely long days reaches dangerous levels, ranging from 44 Celsius at night to 53 in the afternoon in the temperate zones. Hurricanes run unchecked across the oceans, with winds reaching up to 250 kilometers per hour. While there are some arthropod-like animals, the predominant forms of life are various kinds of toxic algae blooms that stretch hundreds of kilometers across. However, other biohydrocarbon algae blooms are suitable for use as biofuel. Farming the green gold forms the backbone of Yam's economy. Colony founded in 2170, population of around 500,000, capital is New Karnak.
I found something.
Yeah, you did, ED. Alliance Marine Recon Unit, we found 2 things. And the 103rd, oh, it's been updated, right. I need fuel, man.
Faster than light jump successful.
Ah! Totally worth it.
Evasion successful.
Katassi, here we go. Joe, for God's sake with this. Norasa. God, she's trying to burn my retinas. Norasa is an unremarkable methane ammonia ice giant with a small family of icy moons. It's likely that the Katassi system had additional worlds earlier in its history, but these have been swallowed by the aging giant star. Katassi is an elderly, metal-poor population 2 star, broadly similar to Arcturus.
Signal confirmed.
Oh, we found the fuel as well. Beautiful. Alliance frigate Trafalgar. Nice. F 50. You taking the piss? 50 fuel. Right, Zenitra. Cold, distant Zenitra has an extremely low density and is thought to be mainly water ice around a small rocky core. It has little to recommend it. Alcanos. Alcanos is a standard ice giant with a methane-ammonia atmosphere. It has an unusually strong magnetic field, which is occasionally useful when ships need to discharge their drives. Now, there might be something there then. Looks like we've got a garden well. Gamayon. Gamayon is a hydrogen-helium gas giant with 6 large icy moons. The outermost one, Gigula, is of note for a well-preserved wreckage of an ancient starship that was recovered by a Turian military surveyor. Little information has been released to the public on the vessel, aside from a scholarly paper regarding how the internal layout suggests a horizontally oriented race. I remember this. This was in the first game, maybe, or the second game. And I got really confused by this at first, but it could just mean, like, the Elcor, right? Is that what that means? Horizontally oriented? It's just a really weird way of describing it. Because you'd probably just say quadrupedal, right? Horizontally oriented. It must just mean like a quadrupedal creature, right? So that their spine is flat, rather than being stood up. That must be what it means. Bannock. Bannock is a large superterrestrial hothouse with a crushing carbon dioxide atmosphere. A high average density of over 7 grams per cubic centimeter indicate that Bannock is a mineralogical treasure trove. If only there was some way to safely reach its seas of molten metal and loads of radioactives. The planet's mass is so great that trace amounts of helium and molecular hydrogen can be found in the atmosphere. And, Pragia. Okay, Pragia. I remember Pragia. The jungle planet Pragia. This is where Jack grew up, really, right, and tortured. The jungle planet Pragia is overrun by choking hypergrowth caused by industrially mutated plant species. This, combined with its relative isolation and lack of population, has made Pragia an occasional base of operations for drug runners, weapons smugglers, pirates, mercenaries, terrorists, and intelligence agents seeking secrecy. Sustained habitation on Pragia is extremely difficult, where mutant and even poisonous plant life can overgrow colonies in days instead of years.
I found something.
Yeah, I figured it'd be there. With all those Cerberus research stations. Research data from Intel. Okay, so we'll get a buff from that. Got it. I'm dead. Whatever, dude.
I found something.
We'll get this stuff again. So I need to remember to talk to Glyph about that. Or go to the terminal next to Glyph. Alright. We're out of here. Nubian Expanse, 100%. Head to the Hades Nexus. We definitely need something from here. Okay, we got multiple. Oh my god! Hourglass. Okay, relatively small. Aegis. A hydrogen-helium gas giant, Aegis was the site of an unparalleled cosmic event roughly 1.8 million years ago. An extrasolar body, about 200 square kilometers in size, was drawn into Aegis's gravity well and struck the Jovian planet, blasting enough dust and material into orbit to create a ring. An urban legend has grown over this event. The story goes that if the extrasolar body, usually called a comet, was unaffected by the gravity well of Aegis, it would have coincided with an orbit of Trident and created an extinction-level event on that planet. Prevailing scientific opinion holds that this is an exaggeration at best. Damn it. Machaira. A small rock planet, Machaira's thin atmosphere and high albedo keeps it from being much hotter than it is. The crust is high in sodium oxide, giving the planet a whitish tinge. And Copis, a moon or an asteroid? Dwarf planet? Yeah, Machaira's largest moon, Copis, is a desolate place with an extremely thin atmosphere. Its crust is largely silica-based and there's no sign of water. Like its parent planet, its high albedo keeps it from being a total inferno. And when occluded by Machaira, its temperatures can be nearly tolerable. Its low gravity can be easily countered by a vehicular or personal mass effect field for comfortable exploration. Talaria. A rock with all traces of atmosphere burnt away, Talaria orbits the star Hourglass at a blistering pace every 36 days. Though tidally locked, even its twilight belt and shaded side are too barren to support life. With so many resources on its sister planet Trident, Talaria has largely been ignored by the galactic surveying community. That means it must have something to scan on it. Okay, Trident, this is a garden planet. A human-dominated world with over 95% of its surface covered by salt water, Trident is home to a dazzling array of life. The oceans are filled with creatures ranging from tiny bivalves to mammoth vertebrates, unequaled even by Earth's whales and ichthyosaurs. Small archipelagos create what little land there is, and its valuable real estate is fought over constantly. Underwater extraction operations have recovered a number of valuable minerals from the ocean floor, including iridium, uranium, and dust form element 0. A largely lawless world, Trident is home to a rogues gallery of unethical corporations exploiting the resources of the planet, and actual rogues, criminals, slavers, and mercenaries working the shadows. Advisory: due to extreme weather conditions, all traffic to the surface is grounded. Trident Spaceport Control predicts this condition will persist until the end of the hurricane season. Colony founded in 2144 with a population now of 6.8 million. Capital is New Costo.
Signal confirmed.
Give me Copis. The Obelisk of Kaza, nice. That's one thing we definitely need for the Citadel.
Reapers eluded.
Excellent.
Faster than light jump successful.
Okay, off to Pamyat. Okay, can we see anything in the asteroid belt? Usually pretty declarative. Yeah, I've got one. Volkov. Alexander Volkov. A dwarf planet, Volkov has a thick atmosphere of nitrogen and krypton. Home to a thriving iridium mining community, Volkov's reputation is summed up as rich but dangerous. Pirates often lurk behind Volkov's two moonlets, Zenoviva and Alina, and cripple freighters leaving the atmosphere. To make matters worse, Volkov sits in the Chazov Belt, a field of asteroids and other small bodies which leads to a frequent meteor strike on the planet. Meteor-related casualties remain rare, but on Volkov, the chances of such a death are high enough that they are factored into insurance premiums. Population of 3,800. Okay, that's somewhere to scan for sure. Can't see anything else in the belt. Dobrovolsky. Another near-Earth-sized rock planet without much atmosphere to speak of, Dobrovolsky is home to Altai Mineral Works, a local extraction company noted for its success in ESO refining. The planet itself provides aluminum for local fabricators, which are churning out habitats at an astonishing rate for a system that has no garden planets. With its ore supply coming all the way from the Sheol system, Dobrovolsky is held up as the proof of the miner's cliche. Where there's ESO, there's an economy.
I found something.
Nice. Komarov. First charted by the Asari but colonized by humans, the Pamyat system is home to Komarov, an Earth-sized body near the star. It has little atmosphere to speak of, but this hasn't stopped exploration by robo-miners who've recovered iridium from the planet's crust. Dobrovolsky. Come on, dude. Alliance frigate Leipzig. RB Leipzig. Are they sponsored by Red Bull as well? Football reference. I apologise. Patsayev. A rock planet encased in frozen oceans, Patsayev was notable for the largest written message ever created by a human being. I remember this. Andrei Kobzar, a disgruntled miner whose fortunes were spent prospecting for ESO, used the mass accelerator cannon of a local mercenary group's A-61 Mantis gunship to carve a 208-kilometer-long message in the ice, saying "Zdez nchego niet," Russian for "there's nothing here." The message used to be visible from low orbit. Ironically, the message itself appears to have been melted away by another determined individual with heavy equipment, and now truly, there's nothing here. We'll see about that. Damn it. Perfect.
Evasion successful.
Alright, Sheol. Might not be enough fuel to get back to the mass relay. Sorry. Okay, just one. Gay Hinom. A nearly atmosphereless, tidally locked planet orbiting a red dwarf star. Gay Hinom was the first place human explorers discovered a dedicated Prothean burial ground. While a few sites were saved for posterity, Eldfell Ashland Mining successfully lobbied to scout the rest of the planet for Element Zero, and soon were embroiled in a scandal. Mining teams were looting grave sites, searching for ESO and other treasures, and many got rich off the so-called cemetery business. While EAM officially brought a stop to the looting, its mining teams remain on the planet, prospecting the unclaimed territory and taking their ore to the Pamyat system for refining. Advisory. Armed conflicts have broken out between miners and scientists staking claims to Prothean ruins. Visitors are advised to employ security while exploring unknown regions of the planet. Population 11,000. I think we went here in the first game. I could be wrong. I mean, there's got to be something
Signal
here.
Confirmed.
Something of Prothean origin. Hey, a Prothean sphere. And there's nothing else here. Okay. Might have to spend some money to get back here. No, we're alright. Hecate. Bothros. A rock and ice planet, Bothros is home to a scientific curiosity. Evidence of a primate-like spacefaring civilization was found frozen in its equatorial ice, ranging from melted fragments of metal to preserved remains of the creatures still wearing suits for extravehicular activity. Further exploration revealed that their habitation centers were vaporized from orbital bombardments from railgun light weapons hitting with a force of approximately 120 kilotons of TNT. This feels like the first game, because this would have been quite mysterious to me when I read it, I think. Only those that fled, or happened to be away from the habitats, were preserved in the ice, where they died of asphyxiation. The unknown species didn't come from Asteria, but scientific teams are looking for evidence that they visited there. It's difficult to believe they would colonize a frozen rock like Bothros and ignore a lush garden world. Their world of origin is also a mystery. A bulletin. Geth have been encountered in the Hecate system. All civilian traffic is prohibited. No? Thought there might be stuff there. Care. A dry, desolate planet, Care is temperate but supports little life above the microscopic level. Its Earth-like temperatures and gravity make it an appealing place to build habitation hideaways, attracting Batarian slavers and criminals who can't afford more luxurious safe houses on other planets. Its forgiving nitrogen-helium atmosphere makes EVAs possible with a minimal amount of equipment. A breathing mask and warm clothing is usually sufficient. Mining and other legitimate activities are few and far between on Care. The planet's crust is largely free of precious metals, instead producing kilometers upon kilometers of dolomitic limestone, calcite, and gypsum. Bulletin. Geth have been encountered yet. Asteria. A habitable planet, known for its arid, sulfurous deserts, Asteria is colonized near the poles to avoid the uncomfortable temperatures that can reach 65 degrees Celsius in more southern latitudes. While the seas contain primitive animal life, little of it can live on land, leaving the soil and hardy plants that can survive in the extreme heat. Asteria is home to thriving human and Asari agrarian colonies, but little in the way of manufacturing or mining. Advisory. Carbon dioxide concentrations can reach 2,500 parts per million in Asteria's atmosphere. Citizens should carry supplemental oxygen for children and the elderly, consult with local governments to discuss animal companion detection systems or other preparatory measures. Colony founded in 2044, population 188 million, capital Blackdown. Interesting. Okay, so I think when the scan is going to be on one of those two. Triodia. A modestly sized gas giant with an icy core, Triodia's hydrogen and methane atmosphere gives it a bluish colour. It has 14 moons, named after Asari virtues.
I found something.
Of course it was on Asteria. The frigate Hong Kong. That frigate must have crashed when it had its freedoms tampered with, right? That's not funny. It's not funny at all. I was trying to be clever. That never works out, does it?
Reapers eluded.
Ooh. Hades Nexus, done. And it's an hour in. Great. Okay, so yeah, Kepler Verge and Shadow Sea don't have anything to scan. Let's head to the Castellan Rift. Man, this could take quite a while. I don't know whether to just do one big episode or split it in two. Feels like one big episode would be better. Is this the only system? No, ISO. Elatha. A tiny rock planet, Elatha is noted for its frigid temperatures and crushing nitrogen and krypton atmosphere. Lying out beyond the Foma belt, there's little to recommend it. Okay. There's a planet in the belt as well. Yeah, Castellan. I can't remember why we came here, but we have been here. Castellan is the largest satellite of the gas giant Cernussus. Cernussus. Ancient asteroid strikes deposited major loads of element 0 within the molten sulfur mantle. Eldfell Ashland Energy's mining operations made it the largest source of Starship drive core material in the Attican Traverse, which threatened Castellan's native biodiversity with industrial waste. Castellan is racked with volcanism due to tidal stresses from Cernussus. Because of weak solar output, plant-like life on Castellan is not carbon-based and photosynthetic, but silicon-based and thermosynthetic, requiring heat rather than sunlight to power chemical reactions. These organisms flourish in volcanic vents and during solar flares, when below, Castellan's sun can double or triple in luminosity. Oxygen-breathing habitation is not possible outside its many domed cities. Those cities are now feasts for the Reapers, who drove off Castellan's protective fleet and now threaten to puncture domes to force the population into submission. Colony founded in 1975, population 1.8 billion. Pre-invasion, capital Sinew. Interesting. So, did it say which race is mainly settled here? I don't think so. Cernussus. Cernussus is a sizable gas giant with a high nitrogen content. It's believed to be an extrasolar capture due to its close stellar location. I was going to say it's really close to the star. In a rare phenomenon, it's near enough to its red dwarf star to be within the life zone, although its massive size prevents the tidal lock that usually occurs at this range. While nothing could survive on the surface of a planet with such crushing gravity, Cernussus's moon, Castellan, has life. Cernussus was skimmed for its abundant hydrogen and refineries on Castellan processed it into metastable metallic form for use as starship fuel. The Reapers have since destroyed this operation.
Signal confirmed.
Bress. A member of the Fomor Belt, Bress is a dwarf planet with no atmosphere. It is, however, rich in lithium, which is integral to the heat sinks of many starships and handheld weapons. A large robo-mining operation from Castellan once existed here, but the miners quickly abandoned the area when they learned they were in the path of the Reapers. Let's see. Synth diamond heat sinks. Nice. 50%. Partholon. A large planet composed of ice surrounding a rocky core. Partholon retains trace gases of nitrogen and carbon monoxide. Its crushing gravity makes for an inhospitable stay and mining largely infeasible. However, its orbit's proximity to the mass relay in the system means space travelers will, for the next few years, use it for a gravitational slingshot to add speed on their way to and from Castellan. Okay, so we need to find the fuel. Damn it!
Faster than light jump successful.
Okay, so we've been to ISO and scanned there, so it's probably just fuel that's still here, right? Is this the one with the 3 planets in the belt? No, I don't think so. There's one in the belt. I think I saw it. No. Arvuna. Yeah, I remember this. Arvuna, a moon of Dranen, is classified as a water world because oceans or ice cover 90% of its surface. Besides prodigious sea life, Arvuna is home to a host of venomous arthropodal pests in the tropical zone with metallic carapaces similar to those found on Palaven to resist radiation coming from Dranen's magnetosphere. There are several well-shielded human colonies on Arvuna, although they are alienated from the Council and politically insignificant to the Traverse and Terminus systems. The Reapers are yet to reach Arvuna, concentrating instead on the Balor system. While this cuts Arvuna off from the cluster's mass relay, it's at least some evidence that the Reapers can't be everywhere at once. I think this was in the DLC, right? Yeah, because the Reapers don't come here. Yeah, I'm not going to read these ones because I feel like we read these quite recently as part of the Dr. Bryson DLC. Got ya. Well, let's get out of here. This is just fuel, so the percentage thing is going to bother me, so I'll probably... We do need the fuel, so...
Evasion successful. Reapers eluded.
Man!
Faster Faster than light jump successful. Evasion successful.
Okay, 100%. We've not been to Ninmar, have we? I don't think so. I've got the memory of a fish. Goldfish. Maxim Zol. Listening post. This is to do with the Rachni, right? Yeah. So I don't think... Oh, crap. Oh, man.
Reapers eluded.
Don't think there's anything here. I don't think it's scannable. There's a fuel depot here as well. Utoku. I do remember this. Yeah, this is the Dr. Bryson DLC place. There's nothing here. You can't scan. Okay, Ninmar cluster is empty. What a waste of fuel. Quick.
Faster than light jump successful.
Close. Can't go there. Castellan Rift is complete. Can't go there, right? Can we go to this one? No. Something's appeared in Sigurd's cradle. I could have sworn this was at 100%. Well, which one's got the bloody missing percentage then? Mill. Alright, Mill. White Mill. Okay, what was here? Chalkos. Chalkos is notable for being one of the few garden worlds in the Milky Way that's also part of a binary planet system. Both it and its heavenly twin, Selvos, are in a stable orbit with one another, in addition to orbiting the star Mill. Chalkos' greenhouse gases lead to a hotter climate than Earth, and the solar eclipses caused by Selvos, while common, are not frequent enough to be a good solar shade. They didn't prevent a colony from springing up, largely Asari and their varying species of mates. It was far from an idyllic settlement like many Terminus worlds. It was rife with farmers growing psychoactive substances, armed gangs, and with genetic engineering that would be illegal in council space, but aside from the maddening heat and photo period, it was quite inhabitable. The Reapers turned Chalkos to rubble. Emergency broadcasts caught in the light cone coming from the planet indicate that the Reapers used ground forces to invade and spent little time harvesting. As they departed, the Reapers bombarded the planet from orbit, either because they needed to reinforce another front quickly, or had gathered the data on genetic engineering they needed. Jeez.
I found something.
Yeah, figured. Yeah, it's just crazy when you hear of how they've already so quickly just completely wiped. I suppose it was a colony, so it's a lower population, right? It's not like a home world, which would take a lot longer. Husk neural map. Interesting. Selvos. That's 100% of the assets. We're done. Chalkos' binary twin is a barren world that's always seemed like a better terraforming prospect than it is. Its temperatures are quite tolerable for sapient life, and its gravity is suitable for retaining a thick atmosphere. Its location, close to Chalkos, makes for a tempting investment. Two garden worlds so close together would benefit from mutual trade and, if nothing else, tourism due to their near-unique status. However, Selvos has minimal water. Early attempts at creating a hydrosphere met with slow progress that only Chalkos' Asari could love. Yeah. The deaths of the colonists on Selvos and Chalkos have dashed any hope for terraforming in the near future. Selvos is now a wasteland of punctured, domed habitats, and its orbital stations are slag. The Reapers have moved on. Jeez. Terapso. A hydrogen-helium gas giant with an abundance of nitrogen in its atmosphere, Terapso was notable because of its independence from the government of Chalkos as well as any other governing body. As a result, its colonized moons and orbital stations overseeing the helium-3 recovery were neutral meeting grounds for all manner of deals between terminus governments, warlords, or crime figures. The Reapers appear to have cursorily bombarded many of the moons and machinery here. It's possible there are survivors. No plans exist detailing the extensive tunnel networks that were under the moon's surfaces, but it is likely that without rescue or food shipments, any inhabitants will die off soon. Yeah, the galaxy of tragedy right now. Lycia. Lycia is a low-density world notable for its appearance in the Asari exploitation hollow Blue Steel, one of humanity's first attempts to market entertainment galactically. The promotional campaign assured viewers that it was filmed on location in the most dangerous section of the galaxy, the Terminus systems. In fact, the cast and crew were relatively safe, occupying a space station that orbited an unremarkable lifeless planet. Lycia's space stations housed a largely Asari crew teleporting robo-mining of uranium. When Blue Steel was released, human audiences still thought of this as an exotic profession. Today, it would induce yawns. The Reapers have destroyed the orbital stations around Lycia and have moved on. It's not known if anyone managed to escape. Is that a little planet in the belt? Yeah, Mylassi. The salacious asteroid Mylassi is rich in olivine and pyroxene. The Asari colonizing Chalkos set up habitats on Mylassi mostly to oversee a large-scale project in which smaller asteroids would be flown to Chalkos. There, the olivine would be recovered and used in sequestering the planet's carbon dioxide. As with many Asari projects, this was expected to take decades or centuries before generating an appreciable effect on the planet's climate. The station here has been bombarded by the Reapers. The effect on the integrity of the asteroid is unknown, but it doesn't appear to be breaking apart just yet. Alright, that's everything in Sigurd's Cradle again. Watson, yeah. I remember. Hourglass Nebula. Is this a single star system one, or... I feel like this might have been in the Horizon DLC. It's getting pretty long now. What's here? A inlay.
Signal confirmed.
Okay, the Reapers are appearing. Okay. Arinlay is a garden world in its last stages of habitability. While its soil still supports agriculture, its animal biodiversity has fallen to record lows, and the most successful remaining life is toxic blue-green algae and insect-like pest species. A large Solarian colony is trying to restore biodiversity to the planet, but setbacks are a fact of life. Mineral and fuel mining remains lucrative, however, and Arinlay has a thriving spaceport that refuels many ships passing into the terminus systems. The Solarians can save them. Salvage, okay. Beautiful. Ganju. Ganju is an extremely large rock planet with a thin atmosphere of hydrogen and carbon monoxide. Abundant in both copper and platinum, the crust has been scanned by mining bots from Arinlay, but the specialized equipment to work in Aganyu's heavy gravity has created prohibitive costs, and so Aganyu is largely unexploited. More than 5 Gs. Jesus. Olakan, which means sky harvest, is a standard gas giant composed of hydrogen and helium. The spacefarers from Arinlay gather helium-3 from here rather than Orunmila, as its atmosphere is much more predictable. And lastly, this is an extrasolar capture for sure. Arvuna. A medium-sized gas giant, Arvuna is close enough to its parent stars to suffer massive changes in temperature during its day and night periods. This leads to powerful convection currents and storms throughout its hydrogen-helium atmosphere. Gathering helium-3 to refuel is possible for the hardiest of exploration craft, but lesser ships are nearly always lost in the attempt. Arvuna is within the frost line of its solar system, where icy cored gas giants don't usually form. For this reason, it's believed to be an extrasolar planet captured by its star's gravity. As I suspected. Alright, we've got a lot to do here. Ploitari, the Ploitari system. Sinulus. Space probes indicate that Sinulus is nowhere near as hospitable as its neighbour, Zenithu. Sinulus's hydrogen-argon atmosphere is thought to be anathema to life, but the presence of borax on the surface spawned by a boron-heavy core indicates the planet may once have had water. Nope. Zenithu. Wow, that was a lot of Reaper activity. Believed to be a post-garden world, Zenithu, I remember this one, has large deposits of calcium carbonate in its sedimentary rocks, indicating that it may have once had plate tectonics and even plant life. Its swirling clouds of dust and snow may have occurred more recently and blocked the sun, creating a mass extinction event. Its surface gravity is comfortable and its temperature tolerable by most sapient species. Yeah, maybe attacked by the Reapers as well to create the extinction event. Igella, so that might be where they are, what we're trying to find is. Only known from scan data picked up by space probes, Igella is currently classified as a dwarf planet. A warm, barren rock, its thin atmosphere is composed of carbon dioxide and oxygen. Significant alumina deposits in its crust make its density and gravity very low indeed. Thagan. Thagan rounds out the trio of planets only scouted by space probe in this backwater solar system. A frozen ball with significant amounts of tin in its crust, Thagan has a fractional atmosphere with trace amounts of carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Strange radiation emissions have been charted coming off of Thagan, but it's unknown if these are from radioactive elements or merely a star's radiation reflected by a high albedo surface. Okay.
I found something.
Knew it. Terminus freighters. Okay. Oh, that's everything. See ya.
Evasion successful.
Need fuel though. So Willow. Thurasaz. A hydrogen-helium gas giant, Thurasaz has a decrepit automated infrastructure for refueling merchant vessels with helium-3. Painted onto the metal in a Solarian dialect are the words self-serve. Kanaz. Kanaz's extremely thin atmosphere is mostly methane and helium. The Solarian explorers who named the system set up a small mining presence for recovering nickel and chromium used in making stainless steels. Oruz. A large rock planet with a pressure cooker atmosphere of nitrogen and argon, Oruz's silicate-rich crust is relatively low density. It was largely ignored by the Solarian explorers who first charted the system. Garden planet over here. Hagalaz. Hagalaz is a second-tier garden world that receives little attention from the galactic community. A Solarian mining expedition initially discovered the planet, which was promptly strong-armed away from them by organised crime figures. Hagalaz's exploration rights were then sold to the highest bidder, which led to a brief burst of mining colonies in the 2000s, but most of those were abandoned when other planets were found with more accessible resources. Though Hagalaz has a nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere capable of supporting life, its rotational period is slower than Earth's, making its day and night 98 Earth days long. What? The intense heat on one side of the planet and the extreme cold on the other make for violent storm cells wherever the sun is rising or setting. As a result, the flora and fauna of Hagalaz have developed the capability to live in cycles of ice, flooding, baking heat, and dramatic air pressure changes. The biota of the planet has been largely unexploited by the exotic pet and gardening trades. since simulating their natural conditions is problematic for the average consumer. Interesting. Answers. I want answers. A large rock planet, Answers, was once under development by a consortium of robo-mining interests, but an epidemic of accidents and sabotage cost the lives of hundreds of workers and eventually drove them off the world. Despite numerous accusations among the mining corporations and a dozen or more trials, popular opinion holds that the real saboteurs were never found. Okay, so this might be a scad. No.
Signal confirmed.
Yeah. I thought it would be Hourglass at first. Gonna need some fuel though. Something Solarian? Oh, Shadow Broker support team. Nice. And this. Oh, we got it, we got it, we got it, we got it.
Reapers eluded.
Fire. Oh, a lot in this system. Antikythera. Antikythera, which means fused metal in Solarian, I presume, is so named because of its spectacular craters. A planet high in various grades of iron oxide, Antikythera is regularly pummeled by loose asteroids in the nearby belt between it and Wenrum. The iron melted and fused by the incoming meteors makes for spectacular landscape shots that look alien no matter what part of the galaxy you may be from. However, due to frequent meteor impacts, exploration is considered highly dangerous even to those with advanced kinetic barriers. Interesting. Alingan. Alingan, which means deceptive, was so named by Solarian scouts because as their probes landed on the planet, their instruments started going awry. This turned out to be due to the high concentration of magnetically active periclase, magnesia, in the core and crust of the planet. This interferes with scans and broadcasts, which has given rise to countless spacer stories of pirates lying in wait in Alingan's magnetosphere, or crashed ships with untold fortunes stranded on the surface. In reality, any pirates would have a hard time locating prey amongst all the interference and would live lives cut off from the rest of the galaxy as the magnetosphere kills extraplanetary communication. Alingan's other natural features are a thin atmosphere of carbon dioxide, spectacular dry ice formations, and xenon gas, which can be skimmed from the upper atmosphere and used in ion thrusters. Is there anything in the belt? Not that I can see. Nephros. Nephros, which means restless sleep, is a relatively small hydrogen-helium gas giant. Its atmosphere is home to spectacular winds of up to 350 km per hour and electrical storms up to 700 times the power of those on Earth, which indicate that its hydrogen clouds contain moderate amounts of water vapor. Oh, we've got a little guy over here. Wenrum. Wait, did I read? No. Wenrum, which means white knight, takes its name from a Solarian story in the Romantic period of a knight who refused all temptation to riches, carnality, and even flavorful food until justice was served to the poor and oppressed. I think I've seen this guy in the YouTube comments somewhere. The planet is so named because of its white, highly reflective surface, composed mainly of titanium dioxide and ice, and no atmosphere to speak of to dim its albedo. Tunfigel, I'm not sure how to say it. First charted by the Solarians, Tunfigel, which means hard heart, is noted for its platinum and uranium deposits, making robo-mining a lucrative activity. While the surface temperature is well within the range of a comfortable EVA excursion, the extremely dense Tunfigel generates a dangerous gravitational pull 5 times that of Earth. The Solarian miners exploiting the planet derisively nickname planets such as these Elcor tourist traps. I remember that, yeah, for the gravity. Solarians, such snobbery. Daratar. Though ancient riverbeds crisscross the plains of Daratar, photo disassociation has long since dried up the world. There are indications of ancient mining operations, but any structures have long since been buried or worn away by the planet's seasonal dust storms. Harem. A scorchingly hot planet close to its parent star, Harem was bombarded by comets and asteroids during its earliest geological periods. As the solar system stabilized, these occurrences leveled off until the planet became geologically inactive. Its nitrogen and helium atmosphere is extremely thick due to heavy metals making the planet's core very dense. Unfortunately, these metals are deep below the crust, making mining impractical. None of the interior planets.
I found something.
Oh nice, they're next to each other. Nice, Shadow Broker starship tech. Liara will be happy. If Liara's happy, I'm happy.
Faster than light jump successful.
Happy wife, happy life, you know? We got everything, guys. Right, I don't know if I might just make this like a ridiculously long episode. Because there can't be that many left. Okay, there's not that many left. We've got... Okay, Shrike Abyssal's got something in it. I think it's just fuel, to be honest. We'll see. Oh no, there's a system has shown up. Kaizil. Was this maybe in the Bryson DLC? I'm not sure. See if the Garden World rings a bell. Heshtok. A Systems Alliance official once summarized his tour of the Vorcha... Oh, the Vorcha homeworld! As follows. You can make your own Heshtok in 2 steps. Take Hell, then add Vorcha. Oh, that was brilliant. The planet is highly volcanically active, leading to periodic releases of toxic gases into the air and water supplies, as well as other extreme situations that gave rise to the Vorcha's legendary adaptability. Overcrowding and the extermination of most of their ecology led to a planet covered in weeds and hardy vermin. The Vorcha don't have a recognised single government that would allow them membership in any galactic league. Alliances between bloodlines are tenuous at best, and the Vorcha's short, violent lives ensure there are few lasting institutions. The Reaper invasion of Heshtok encountered little formal military resistance, but the harvesting process is slow. Destroying neighbouring cities fails to intimidate Vorcha, who become submissive only if physically dominated in person. Cutting off their water supply simply makes them adapt their bodies to get moisture from food. Allied intelligence hypothesizes that Reaper forces are not harvesting yet, instead seeking to immobilize Heshtok's population and prevent them from joining the fight for the galaxy at large. Interesting. Their stupidity is like benefiting them. Or no, not their stupidity. That's harsh. Just their pure adaptability means they're not scared of suffering, essentially, right? Lack of census data spreads estimates from 6 to 9.3 billion from pre-invasion. The capital, which is disputed, is Hatash. Quite light gravity.
Signal confirmed.
Yeah, I thought it'd be there. Are we going to get like a unit, a group of Vorcha? Void Devils, Fighter Wing. Nice. I apologise for calling them stupid, that's not what I meant. I was just referring to their adaptability. The Skrull. The Skrull is a small, hot, tidally locked inner planet that had modest minerals development on its dark side. Within a generation of the Vorcha's first contact with spacefaring species, robo-mining interests attempted to exploit it, only to find their trading partners violently overthrown on a regular basis. The Vorcha's own culture disenfranchised them in the Skrull's case, as their legal claims to the planet were inevitably backed up by violence as a show of dominance. This nuance was lost on the mining corporations, who hired mercenaries to guard their operations with lethal force and never surrendered it to Vorcha claimants. The Reapers sent a small force to destroy the Skrulls' orbital stations and surface facilities. There's no indication that there are any survivors. Parask. A lifeless desert, Parask was colonized soon after first contact with the Vorcha. Several Asari mining corporations working with a Siari-based charity called Mind and Hand built settlements on the planet's surface and orbital stations. Adopting Vorcha orphans from Heshtok, they raised them to live non-violent lives and employed them in the mining industry. While Mind and Hand's efforts were at first labelled colonialist, the orphans became minor celebrities when it was discovered that the Vorcha habit of using violence to communicate wasn't completely innate. Several spoke throughout Citadel space on behalf of their species, but their short lifespans kept their careers very brief. Even today, companies that want Vorcha labour have the poor choice between adopting and educating them as youngsters just to watch them age and die, or deal with autonomous but violent adults. Yeah, 20-year lifespan, right? The Reaper invasion devastated Parask. Its industrial capacity was ruthlessly targeted, and the Vorcha mining communities were exterminated. The only silver lining is that the deaths here have created martyrs, inspiring other alien-raised Vorcha to fight for their galaxy. Yeah, fair enough. Lirat. A hydrogen-helium gas giant, Lirat was the site of a brief and decisive battle between Vorcha and Reaper forces. It was implicitly characterized on the news vids as millennia-old death machines versus a gang of teenagers, a reference to the Vorcha's brief lifespans and inexperience. In reality, many of the ships were commanded by other species to avoid this shortcoming, but the insult still sticks. The defenders outnumbered the Reapers, but their force was comprised of light ships suitable to a militia, since never before had it been in anyone's best interest to allow Vorcha to build a dreadnought. Superior Reaper firepower soon wiped out the Vorcha fleet, and the fuel infrastructure around Lirat was pulverized. Rumours abound that the Reapers didn't lose a single ship. Brutal. Rostaka. This methane ammonia gas giant was swept past during the Reaper invasion, and once its helium-3 collection equipment was destroyed, it was largely ignored. Vorcha ships that survived the attacks on Heshtok and Lirat can be found discharging their drive cores here before making spy sorties or retreating further into space. Okay. Vorcha space, man. Right.
Evasion successful.
Shrike Abyssal. Completed it. Alright. There was only one that had a lot of missing. Oh, maybe not. Crescent Nebula. Let's go. We're nearly there. Come on now. We can do it. We can do this. Okay, Lusan. Not been here, apparently. Maybe this was another Bryson DLC. God, this one's huge, man. Absolutely huge. Zetic. A methane ammonia gas giant, Zetic is best known for the infamous Calthor camp, established on the ice moon of Gessis. Calthor was a Blue Sun's hostile environment training facility run by a cadre of former Batarian Special Intervention Unit operators. In 2168, a cluster-wide scandal broke out when it was revealed that the mortality rate of recruits sent to the camp might be as high as 18%. Investigation by Asari authorities based on Ilium uncovered graves around the facility containing the remains of several hundred recruits dating back 2 decades. The camp was immediately closed and their remains sent back to their worlds of origin. An inquest by the Blue Suns found the Batarians had used harsh training methods, but these were consistent with their own training to join the SIU. The Batarians were exonerated, though Calthor was shut down and they were reassigned to other units. No criminal charges were filed against the Blue Suns, Council law didn't extend to the Crescent Nebula, and the Asari on Ilium Asari on Ilium found the Blue Suns self-policing to have met their due diligence requirement for corporate justice. I seem to remember reading that one, I'm not sure. I remember there being something about Batarian training methods and and high mortality rates. Tarith. Tarith is broadly Earth-like with a fatal flaw. It has a relatively high amount of chlorine in its atmosphere, the reason for the greenish haze that becomes apparent when looking at the horizon. Chlorine has become a vital component of Tarith's plant life. As a defense mechanism against native herbivores, many species evolve the ability to release clouds of toxic chlorine when disturbed. This gas is heavier than the atmospheric oxygen, which tends to settle in low places. While avoidable, this has placed Tarith near the bottom of the list for colonization. The Reapers have paid little attention to Tarith, concentrating on planets with high populations. Dorier. Dorier is a large, hot world with a poisonous atmosphere of acidic nitrogen oxides. While the planet is too close to Lucerne for this to condense and fall as rain, this makes the environment too hostile for forms of life more sophisticated than bacteria to evolve. Yuntanta. Yuntanta is remarkably close to Earth. Its orbital distance is similar, and while slightly larger, its reduced density yields similar mass, atmospheric pressure, and gravity. There, the similarities end. For Lucerne is a hot Class F star, emitting over 8 times the energy of Sol. Yuntanta is a parched wasteland, its water long since boiled away into its nitrogen carbon dioxide atmosphere. A handful of mining outposts dot the hellishly hot surface. The crews remain in underground bunkers, sending remotely controlled machines out at night to do surface work and load cargo for shipment. It doesn't appear the Reapers have struck here yet. Population 230. I really thought there'd be something there. This is an extra solar here. Gotta be. Jontan is a fairly standard close-orbiting Pegasid gas giant, orbiting the star Lucerne at high velocity and heated to temperatures of over 1000 degrees. Analysis of its orbit has revealed a core of heavy elements with a mass double that of the planet's hydrogen-helium atmosphere. The Reapers appear to have ignored Jontan, favouring targets that have some level of habitation.
I found something.
Okay, some fuel. There must be multiple things here because... maybe not. Weird. Have I missed a planet? No, there's nothing on this left-hand side. Unless there's something in the asteroid belt. Unless it's just double fuel. Ah! You've got it. Bioware. Oh, salvage credits, okay. Lucerne's heat pummels the Nirana belt, a ring of protoplanetary material relatively close to the star. However, this heat isn't enough to instigate true melting as occurs in a planet's formation, so carbonaceous asteroids such as Bioware retain a primitive makeup. Bioware has yet to be exploited, so the Reapers appear to have ignored it. Probes suggest it is high in chondrites and troilite. Right, that's everything from Lucerne. Let's get out of here. Okay, we're running extremely long. This is going to be the only episode I do today, I think. So, if we're going to do an extra long, scanning intensive episode, Ilium, nice. I wish we could go back there. Ismar Frontier, done. Minos, Nimbus, Athena. It's just the Cillian, that's our last port of call. Is this going to be the Elcor homeworld? I feel like we've already been to the Elcor homeworld, but because we've got a thing there, I feel like the percentage would have updated. We don't need to top off the... Whoa, whoa. What? There's 4 other systems? Stone me. Lorapy. Oh, I thought we were going to get done. Okay, this one's relatively empty though. Wreckage. The Asari once had enormous solar collectors around the bluish-white A0V star Loropi, using the star's considerable heat to create antiprotons for military starship fuel. Now, all that can be detected is scrap. Reapers emerged from dark space near the Cillian Nebula cluster and established a front in Loropi's system. The Asari fleet that guarded what used to be known as Espota Station can't be found. It's scattered and destroyed. One can only hope that the backup reactors in the Castellan system don't fall, or the Asari fleet would have precious little fuel. Paphos. Paphos, a hydrogen-helium gas giant with a significant amount of nitrogen, is named for a prominent Asari lawgiver. A treatise on the reluctance of democracies to go to war with other democracies formed a key tenet of Asari political theory that led to Thessia's modern golden age. The planet itself was only notable for orbital stations that fueled transport ships by skimming deuterium and helium-3. The Reapers destroyed the stations, killing the inhabitants. Leave it out, Reapers. Eucilium. Eucilium is a minor rock planet that has not quite cleared the rings of debris at the edge of Loropi's orbits. It's believed to be an extrasolar capture. For several centuries, Eucilium supported a succession of mining colonies, first iridium, then titanium, and finally light metals like bauxite and alumina. The planet was abandoned long before the Reaper invasion.
Signal confirmed.
Come on, dude. That's Marley's sniper unit. Marley sniper unit, sorry. Come on, fuel.
Reapers eluded.
Adios. Nahuala. Got a garden world. Agessia. Sounds Asari, right? Rife with volcanic activity and scorched by the nearby orange star Nahuala, Agessia is an unforgiving and ever-shifting puzzle box of a planet. Ceaseless solar winds and magnetic bombardment have thinned Agessia's atmosphere, but these features are actually a boon in wartime. Powerful magnetic fields and large quantities of airborne volcanic ash make many forms of scanning difficult, allowing the Asari to hide valuable palladium and molybdenum mines needed for the war effort. Agessia's sheltered underground colonies remained untouched by the Reapers, at least for the moment.
I found something.
Nice. It's like a garden planet. Haitiana. Haitiana serves as a bastion of research for the Asari, boasting multiple observation outposts, glacial drilling stations, and educational institutions. While the planet's average temperature hovers near freezing, the equatorial band contains oceans and many freshwater rivers. Xenobiologists of all stripes often visited the planet, as its expansive facilities were a haven for the life sciences. The Reapers destroyed Haitiana's spaceports and its uniformed defense forces. As with other Asari planets, the Reapers forced the heavily biotic population into surrender through threats of massive retaliation rather than assault by husks alone. Interesting. Population of 190 million pre-invasion, capital city, Port Larama. Oops. The Ceres Guard. Phoros, just let me read this, Reapers, okay? Phoros is a hydrogen gas giant, tinted orange by swirling bands of ammonia and sulfur. Its 4 moons hosted small spaceports used to mine the moons in the nearby Halimar asteroid belt. Unfortunately, Phoros was an early target of the Reapers. They made short work of the lunar outposts on sensors, so no survivors or Reaper forces are immediately obvious. But Voros' ring system is filled with dust and ice that would allow concealment. Pre-invasion population estimate is 43,000.
Faster than light jump successful.
Okay, Fontes. Sangel. When Dacuna's government learned that the Reapers had returned, they evacuated everyone on Sangel's Helium-3 recovery platforms. A sizable hydrogen-helium gas giant was abandoned. Its workers relocated to Dacuna. The move was ostensibly made because the Elcor homeworld was a more defensible position. Okay, Elcor homeworld, we're going to get that thing we need. In reality, it may... I think it's helping someone, actually, isn't it? It may have been motivated by a subconscious herding instinct, as most grazing creatures come together in large groups when predators near. Okay, so I'm guessing this is the Elcor homeworld here. Lenormund. Lenormund's scorching hot surface is composed of lime with deposits of copper. It has faint traces of nitrogen atmosphere. The Elcor have left it untouched, aside from orbital probes that monitor the planet in case anything noteworthy should occur one day. That's so lovely. Talun. Talun is named after the first Elcor settlement in recorded history. The planet's name roughly translates to the deep and restful meadowland, which is somewhat of a misnomer given that Talun's thick, crushing atmosphere keeps its surface boiling hot, and the air is a noxious mix of carbon dioxide and helium. Got a moon here, Altan. The first mission to Altan, Dacuna's moon, was a century in the making. Elcor leaders felt resources for space travel could be better used on their homeworld, and it took decades of persuasion to secure project funding. Archaic harvesting stations that recovered helium-3 from the moon's regolith were still functioning when the Reapers invaded, and the Elcor stationed there were able to flee the system. Very light gravity. And Dacuna. The Elcor homeworld, Dacuna, overflows with natural resources, protected by law, from large deposits of precious metals to vast forests. The Elcor themselves live in rich grasslands near the equator. The majority of Dacuna's settlements are tucked within this belt, as the conservative Elcor feel little desire to build outside their comfort zone. Their twin capitals are for migrations, from the wet season to the dry season. That's awesome. A tradition made obsolete by modern technology, but still observed. After the destruction of the Elcor navy, Reapers moved in their ground troops to occupy the cities. This has taken longer than most civilized worlds, as the Elcor have spread out into smaller, distant settlements, reflecting their preference for close-knit family communities instead of densely packed cities. Pre-invasion population estimate is 2.35 billion. The dual capitals are Serayun and Malvuon. And of course, the heavy surface gravity of 4Gs.
Signal confirmed.
So we're rescuing someone, right? I think. Code of the Ancients. I swear we were rescuing, unless that's on here. The Elcor Flotilla. Okay, there's still other assets though. Just some fuel, I imagine. Boom. And the Elcor homeworld. Interesting that they live in a much more harmonious fashion, still observing kind of the traditions from when they were less evolved in terms of a society, right? Quaresia. A typical hydrogen-helium gas giant, Quaresia serves as a naval resource for fuel gathering and magnetic field discharge. The planet is surrounded by a band of 7 large moons that form the Necklace, a reference to a legendary jewel owned by the ancient Asari queen for which Querezia was named. Querezia's orbit places it within the system's frost line, where gas giants don't usually form. For this reason, the planet's believed to be an extrasolar capture. The alternative, that its orbit is decaying, is a horrifying prospect to the tourism and immigration boards of Nevos, since they would be in the gas giant's eventual path. Okay, so Nevos is a colony, I think, which is this planet. It's a garden world. Nevos, first discovered by Asari pioneers in 430 CE. Nevos is a vibrant garden planet and home to a thriving Asari colony. Sandy beaches and romantic twin moons fuel a bustling tourism economy, while practical and secretive corporate matters are handled in spiraling arcologies built along towering cliffs. Even though it's been colonized for centuries, Nevos feels a frontier away from regulation and oversight. Consequently, a number of influential political lobbies have established sizable presences on the planet. Population of 677 million, capital is Astella.
I found something.
What so? So many Asari. The Rings of Elune, I remember that, we need that. Okay, there's other stuff here though. Atibolos. Farthest out from Teolia, Atibolos is a low-density planet peppered with outdated mining facilities and a few independent mechanical contractors. The unmanned mining scouts that first surveyed the planet conveyed positive reports based on the light gravity, gentle atmospheric pressure, and easily penetrable crust of silica and salt. Neither methane pockets nor low temperatures were barriers to the Asari. But after centuries of mining, the veins of genuinely valuable minerals are gone, and all but a few inhabitants have departed. Nothing there. Loxia. Loxia is a small terrestrial planet tidally locked to Teolia. Due to its low mass and relatively small size, Loxia has an exceptionally fast stellar orbit. The planet's light atmosphere consists mainly of argon and krypton, which occasionally produces long, thin bands of luminescence along the twilight border. Loxia's crust is mainly igneous rock, with wide salt flats and occasional deposits of potassium. Potassium. Nice. Didn't expect that. Don't usually get scans on gas giants, right? Credits. Useful. Right, the last thing we need in the entire Milky Way, and it's fuel. It's here. We've got it all, guys. There's nothing left. Looks like we made it. We're going to dock at the Citadel anyway. There's no point wasting money. Right, we've done it, guys. We'll do a last pass. DMZ 100%. AP Crest 100%. Athean Cluster 100%. Anos Basin. What? I think we checked it. Arcturus Stream 100. Exodus Cluster 100. Kite's Nest 100. Hades Gamma 100. Sigma 100. Argus Row 100. Attican Beta 100. Nothing to get in Shadow Sea or the Kepler Verge. Nubian Expanse 100. Hades Nexus 100. Castellan Rift. Nothing in the Ninmar. Tigger's Cradle, yes. Hourglass Nebula. Valhallan Threshold. The Shrike Abyssal. Crescent Nebula. Ismar Frontier. Minos Wasteland. Nimbus Cluster. Athena Nebula. And the Scythian Nebula. It's done. It's over. Okay, because I don't want this episode to go over 2 hours, what we'll do is we'll just set foot on the Citadel. I don't know, maybe I should just go and hand it all in.
You're cleared to dock, Normandy. Do you need ground transport?
Take me to the Commons.
I need a cab to the Presidium.
It'll be there momentarily.
Okay. We might as well do this now, actually. The war strategist, the researcher. Okay. I don't want this episode to go over 2 hours. We'll do this at the start of the next episode before we head to the next priority mission, right? So, right, we did a lot of scanning, we did a lot of reading, it was cool. We visited the Elcor homeworld, the Vorcha homeworld, another kind of Asari settled cluster. Learned more about what the Reapers are doing. Learned quite a lot about Vorcha and Elcor customs and culture, which is really fascinating. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. If you made it this far, then well done. So yeah, leave me a like if you enjoyed it, and just remember, everybody, never trust and uncrate. I'll see you next time.